Hey folks, I'm Aspen Arrow. Welcome back to Darkest Dungeon 2, where we are continuing our Aspen Aptitude series, where I start these games from a fresh save. So here we are at the prologue, and we're going to do a fresh file for 2025. No candles, no unlocks, and see if we can't unravel the mystery that is this game. So let's get going. Get our little tutorial out of the way here. And then hopefully get into the game. I do have Wayne turned down just because we tend to talk over the top of each other. So no voice acting today. I'm sorry, guys. On to the crossroads, where we have very few choices to make. Now, I do have all the save files, so it looks like we do get to start with A-Bomb and with Duelist, but the traditional no DLCs will be this party right here. So let's go ahead and run that. And let's see. Actually go ahead and put Audrey in the back instead of Paracelsus. Because Audrey has a little more backline. The initial starting kits do kind of limit where you can put people, but hopefully with unlocks, it gets better pretty quick. It is very strange to be back in the valley, but here we are with some zombies. So, Lost Soul, and these are Gaunt. We are going to go ahead and get our riposte up so that when we're hit, we counterattack. You can see, there we go. You can see using the Alt key that he's fairly blight resistant, so base 40. But we can't hit the front with anything, and I find it best to just try and focus one down. So he lands it, and let's finish him off. And then I guess we might as well hit. Fortunately, it does not hit into our riposte, but we should hopefully be through this fairly quickly, getting a nice flame prompt. 10% chance for a blind, so hey, that works. Probably a little unnecessary, but that's okay, we'll take the buff. Easy peasy, we get our first candle, and we get a trinket. So if I come to my inventory, I can decide, hey, extra healing received, but I'll lose movement resistance. Not such a big deal on a character who has Rampart, which will move him forward, and Hold the Line, which will also move him forward 3. So it's not the end of the world. Sometimes the debuffs can be pretty rough, but we'll explore those more as we find more trinkets. I suppose I could have left the actual tutorials on, but I think we're okay. And we have an assistance encounter. We can pick to get something. Again, if you just hold Alt, you can see you get a trinket or supplies, and the gold around them means they'll get some relationship. So let's take another trinket. Get our flame bumped, and we get a speed and a minus health. We can go ahead and speed up. 10% feels like a lot, but as you can see, just 4 hit points, and the game will tell you, here's the base and what's affected. Now those 4 hit points could matter, but as we're in the tutorial, my hope is we not need those 4 hit points to get things. on to another fight. Oh, this lost soul we're already familiar with. We also have a woodsman and a widow. And in this case, I really want the widow to go because she stuns me and gives me horror, which increases my stress. Nice crit. So my hope is to get rid of her or to blind her. You can see 50% chance to miss. And that we hopefully don't have to deal with her shenanigans. And we don't double crit. Excellent. Zombie got us, but that's okay. Guy's obviously gonna hit for a lot. Generally the size 2 are pretty hefty. He's gone ahead and guarded his little buddy. So if we try to hit him, we're gonna hit the big guy instead. There are a few skills that ignore guard, but not all that many, so here I have a choice. I can try and go ahead and get rid of the lost soul, or I can go ahead and keep putting damage into the woodsman. And I think I'm going to try and get rid of the lost soul if we can. Fortunately resisted. And I can't hit him. So I guess my choice should have been to just go ahead and stick with our woodsman here. But that's okay. You get blighted. Has 5 hit points left. We're going to hit for 4 to 6. Fortunately hit that 6 and he is done. And he misses off the blind. Excellent. And now 1 left. And just do some damage here. Fortunately bottom rolling some stuff, but that's okay. This guy is likely going to hit the front 2 ranks. As you can see, front 2 ranks. We don't know this one, or he can guard. So since Dismiss already took some damage, let's guard just like he guarded his friend, the Lost Soul. There we go. We get damage reduction from the block. Break that death blow armor, so it just means we have to get through this to actually get our final blow. Except that we do have execution on Wicked Slice, which ignores 1 armor on unupgraded. Again, there's a few skills that ignore that, or there's a few trinkets that might add it, so it's good to be on the lookout for, because sometimes you don't want to chew through 4 or 5 death armors. Not 4 or 5, 2 or 3. Though some enemies can regenerate them. So we have reached the Torch and Crown. We got some more candles. And we have reached the end of the prologue. Easy enough. Let's run it back and do it again. Select our hope in the expedition. And we get a summary of what we did, which obviously not very much in the prologue. So, on we go. Get to the Altar of Hope, which is where you spend your candles. You can see right now we are able to access the working fields only. I'm going to click this, and for the price of candles, and unlock. So let's go ahead and just unlock one of everything. These will go into my inventory, so I can use them on my next run. Interesting things today. All right. So we got a few items. We can go ahead and say, let's get out of here. Place looks depressing. Oh, gray. Not very hopeful yet. Perhaps we will work to change that. Oh, back to the house. And we are offered one choice. We can go to denial, sign away our life. No, I looked up what the signature meant, but I genuinely can't remember now. Something captivus. Forever captive, the captive? I don't remember. Of course, a nice little story here. Hopefully you'll take the time to listen when you are playing on your own. We'll speak through here. But hey, if you made it this far in the video and you're finding it helpful or interesting, it would mean a lot to me. The like button and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment as to what you have issues with in Darkest Dungeon 2. As part of this Aptitude series, we'll be trying to help people with common problems and issues encountered in Darkest Dungeon, as well as RimWorld. So if you play RimWorld, check that out. Grab our team again, as we saw last time. And we have the standard flip, and off we go. There will be more to choosing team comps later on, but right now we don't have a lot of choice, so it's just going with what's available. Looking at your quirks, trying to figure out synergies. This would all be really important. But in the absence of having the DLC, this is your option. So let's go again. And this will look very familiar. Into the valley, we fight the same fight. So once again, let's get rid of this widow. Fortunately, don't crit this time. And looks like she's probably going to get a turn off, because right now our plague doctor here, Paracelsus, can't hit the back, but she can at least blind, so hopefully that sticks. And it doesn't, so here it is. She's going to hit us, and we get horror. A 75% chance to get 1 stress each turn for the next 3 turns. Fun times. He's probably gonna guard. I think we too will go ahead and guard. Let's make sure that our Dismas here doesn't get hit again with another horror, because she can just sit there and spam the attack and build up that horror. Oof. And you can see that down, weakening our attack. Generally find I try to get rid of the big ones last, just because they take longer. I want to get rid of stress dealers, ones that debuff me or stun me, though this isn't true for every single fight. As with any game, there is some variations in judgment. I'm going to go ahead and take that heal, because when he crushes into a combo token, he does get... Let's go ahead and get rid of this armor. He does get healed 10%. You'll see Audrey is going to hit both, as indicated by this little plus sign. So we can hit through that armor. And with the dot, which over time, our friend here is gone. Well, I guess he wasn't our friend, so I guess it's a good thing he's gone. And now, just like before, it's just try and get the big guy down. Take a little bleed, little stress. Okay. Keep on whittling it down. So we could take a minute to get the bleed off. It's not that big of a deal, though. I'd rather do damage. Most healing is fairly gate-kept, as in it is dependent on having a dot, having a threshold. Unlike the first game, if you played it, where it was, I think, a little less limited. So it can be good to get used to evaluating. Do I need to heal this? Can I deal with it? Is this something that's manageable? And just remember that 1 health is not 0 health. And even when you hit 0 health, you still have some death door checks. So low health isn't always the worst thing in a fight. And that's hard to get used to. You know, I come from the old school RPG Final Fantasies, where it's like, well, let me hoard every elixir and every item till the end of the game because, gosh, I might need it, and cast Cure every turn, and so on. So trying to get used to low health can be pretty hard. So if you have the DLC, this will pop up now. We have the Lost Crusade. Mounting the Battered Helmet trophy on your stagecoach will begin your search for the missing knight. Will affect difficulty and other variables, so on. So we will take it, but we won't mount it this time. We may put it on next time, but let's just do a normal, standard, old run here. All right, we're to the end. We have some resources. We picked up some things for our stagecoach. We picked up a trinket, and now we need to provision ourselves and get ready. So what I generally do first is figure out what I have the opportunity to go to. So I have the Sprawl, which there's going to be no hospitals, and we don't want to go to a hoarder. I have the Tingle, which is going to give a 33% chance of enemy advantage, which is pretty rough. And I want to fight 6 or less road battles. Here I get a scouting gear or candles. Right now I'm going to prioritize candles. This is sort of a tough call. This is pretty hard on the first run. In the first region, with very few unlocks, I think I probably would skip this, but there could be a play, because the Sprawl could also be bad. The other thing I want to do is see, over here in the Provisioner, what can I get heal? What can I get rid of? It does look like we have some burn salve, so we're probably okay to go to the Sprawl. We also have some medicinal herbs. So looking at, hey, as you saw, the place is on fire, I probably want some ways to deal with that. Okay, we have a bunch of things to look at. And so I think we're okay. We're going to try the Sprawl. I genuinely don't love first region Sprawls, but in Denial, we don't have a lot of options. We are going to leave the helmet off. We are just going to go ahead and put our operating table on. It has a chance to remove disease if we get one. We have some mastery, so this lets you upgrade your skills. And you have 5 across all characters. So I want to manage my stress better, and with this team, I'm going to grab Bolster here. And I'm going to grab my healing. Audrey has a self-heal. It does give her dodge pluses, which can be very nice. Generally going to go ahead and upgrade, genuinely going to go ahead and upgrade Defender. Just, I like the block pluses, and then I can help him protect. He's going to be my tank. His role. It's are nice. Vision's not bad. You can see it upgrades various stats. Shown down in the yellow. So this will get a little more damage and some extra blight. And since we already have some synergy with blight, I think I am going to go ahead and do poison darts. And then I'm actually going to grab her debuff. So we have a chance to do combo, blind, and daze. Now, just because I did it this way doesn't mean it's the right way. You can choose to do things differently. You can choose to prioritize skills differently. There's an argument for many ways to play this game. There's no right way. So feel free to experiment. Have fun. Try not to get locked into things, because I think that's when the game gets a little stale or a little frustrating as well. I'm picked the same skills and I've done the same thing and gosh, it's not working. You know, try something wild. Throw a different skill on. Use something you never used. Like, it can be fun to try to find the synergy. At least for me. If you just want to run all over everything and win, hey, use whatever works for you. And we are going to go ahead and eat the slime mold. We are going to grab some glimmers, which will help keep our flame higher. We're going to grab those burn salves. There's actually a fair amount of bleed, and I just know that because I've played, so I'm going to grab some more healing items. For me, it's worth it. My relationships won't really be affected right now. And you can see we have trinkets with various effects. And we have stagecoach items. Unfortunately, we cannot afford any. And if you're having a hard time, you can always grab the Radiant Flame. I do like Sharpness Charm, but I don't like the debuff on speed. Audrey is already getting +2 speed, and so I think I'm actually okay with grabbing this and putting it on Audrey. So, the other thing you want to check in the early game, it will matter less just for the candles. You can still get unique items and things that are important, but we want to see. So he wants to use Glimmers of Hope. Let's make sure he has some glimmers. Wants to go to a watchtower. He'll gaunt, enter the sprawl. So it seems like we picked a good path. Hopefully we'll find a watchtower. Gaunt can show up in the sprawl, so there's a chance to beat that. And we are going to the sprawl. Okay. You can see we have cosmetics. Of course, I have unlocks and DLCs, so if I want, I could change up her palette. Kind of a newer feature. Pretty cool to be able to do that after the initial screen, because sometimes I certainly forget. And we'll just give everybody an item here. We'll give Audrey this. Our other thing we got was the Pristine Lure. I feel like this is maybe not the best one right now. It gives us a taunt, and while it can be very strong, it can also be a little problematic. You can see we ate and just got a quirk. And we got robust, extra disease resistance. We also got these restorative herbs, which will let us heal extra. And I'm kind of fine with that. Chances are these two are going to be taking the hits. So let's go ahead and use them. And with that, I think we are ready to go to the sprawl. Let's go. Yes, that's fine. It does try to warn you if you've missed something, didn't use something, but I'll be honest, I still sometimes forget my in items, or I forget my stagecoach swap outs. It happens. You can just do the best you can. All right, you can see hero goal complete. You can look at it, see everybody's. And we wanted to go to a watchtower, but we wanted to avoid the hoarder. But we really, really want these shrines. It's gonna be a rough region. Gonna avoid the hoarder for some candles. Yeah. Well, gosh darn it. So now I have to make a choice. I mean, I want the candles for the unlocks, and I will get them here. And I do really want these bells. This is how I start unlocking my heroes. So, goodness, it's been a while since I've played Confessions. So let's head up to the watchtower. We'll also get a stress relief here. And he'll get a stress because we didn't go the way he wanted. Loathing, like your wheels and your armor on your stagecoach, just builds up when you hit it. And has various impacts, like many things. Generally don't want it to get to the end of the bar there. Take a look at our watchtower, which is going to give us scouting. That is a lot of loathing. My goodness. And we are unfortunately not going to get many fights. We are going to get a lot of loathing, though. Okay. So, I mean, I'm locked into this path at this point. Not much I can do. Sometimes that's the way it goes. Fights are really valuable. They give you currency. They give you trinkets. So this is not maybe the most optimal path, but that's okay. We may choose to take a fight instead of one of the shrines, just because it'll be of value to hopefully see the fight. So unfortunately, we do lose out on getting some candles for avoiding him. You can see he sells a variety of combat items, in items, trinkets, and stagecoach gear. Of course, we spent all our money. So at this point, we're just gonna skedaddle on out. We are gonna lose an armor, which also affects combat. It means you will not get a block token at the start of the combat. I generally find, for me, I prioritize keeping my armor over my wheels. And here we go, Shrine of Reflection. Pick who you want. I am probably going to go Plague Doctor here. And just so there's no spoilers, I will go ahead and cut this out so you can hopefully experience this part of the game on your own. So I'll see you back in a minute. All right, back from that, and we did get a new skill. We got Emboldening Vapors, which will give an ally or ourselves a strength token. I'm pretty happy with our kit right now. I'm actually working towards something else. Oh, I just noticed our Plague Doctor here is a Jinx. Is pretty wild. So if anytime you look at your characters, we already saw Robust. See, he gets a benefit from being in the sprawl. He's gonna imagine getting diseases, so maybe it's a good thing we got that Surgeon's table. But whenever Paracelsus is hit, there's a chance that she's gonna apply a debuff. A very cool quirk, not very cool on the person that is super squishy. And it looks like everyone wants to go for a fight, and I sort of agree. We do need some combats, even though we do want the candles. I think it's a good idea to go ahead and go left here. I'll also alleviate stress again. We're going to lose a wheel. So that will impact our travel heal. And get some more burn salves. Something I think the tutorial tells you, but you do actually want to hit the piles. I am still terrible at driving the stagecoach, but they are a source of resources. That was a fun sentence, a source of sources and resources. All right, let's do a fight. I'm gonna just double check real quick. I have my burn salve. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and put that item on because we're not gonna get blighted. So let's just be extra careful. And we have a choice. We can fight, or we can fight. And you can see that picking Paracelsus here is gonna give a vulnerable token. Sometimes this will happen. Sometimes someone's going to want to leave, but we did luck out here. Everyone wants to fight, and their relationships improve. This is a particularly nasty mash, but we are going to try, as usual, to get rid of this gal back here so she doesn't stun us or give us horror. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try and blind. I did crit, so she's dazed. So now her turn is delayed, and there's a chance that Audrey takes care of it here. So, I can do 3 to 7. I can do 2 to 6 with hopefully landing the blight. So I'm gonna try this. And unfortunately resisted. And I'm gonna go ahead and guard our squishy girl here. Also does give him some block pluses, taking 75% of damage. They're gonna try and move me. They didn't. Immobilized Audrey in the back, which is fine. And fortunately, she misses. So all in all, a decent turn. I believe flashing daggers will be able to hit both. Now, again, there's lots of different mechanics, so sometimes these things change. No, it will not hit the back ring. Because I might consider if someone could hit both of these, that it would be beneficial to go ahead and try and get rid of him. And I'm going to go ahead and try and get rid of him anyway. And I think put up my riposte. Take advantage of that vulnerable. Eventually, those vulnerable tokens and tokens in general will disappear other than the death armor. And a few, maybe in the Shrine of Reflections. Here we riposte. You can see also this guy putting up big burns on us, so we're going to use this ability. Gives us a little resistance. And we're going to go ahead and try and get rid of this backliner. Once his little ball is ignited, he can do some pretty nasty abilities. And we have the option to give ourselves a crit, give someone a combo, or just do damage. And Audrey actually benefits from combo. Let's try to get rid of this guy here in the back. So you can see plus 50% crit. We have a 65% chance. We get it and he's done. See, I can heal, but his health is not low enough. So, try and do some damage. And we will probably guard him. Fortunately, going for Audrey is a bit rough. You can see that he really builds up with those double turns. And it's kind of 50-50. 20-20. 5 over 3, 4 over 4. Like, neither of these are great. And we luck out with the guess, and he does hit. See, he is also very quick. Fortunately, hitting Barristan again, though. I do have these burn salves. Get rid of the burn. And give us a little health boost. And we luck out again, and we got stunned. So he not in too bad a shape. We can now use our ability. Get rid of that burn. And 5 to 8. 3 to 7. 3 to 6. Let's just go ahead and break that armor. See, gives him a weak token. We lose our turn. And we are very grateful for execution on Wicked Slice. There we go. Get a trinket, some bleed resistance, and minus burn resistance. Seems very awful in this region. I think we'll be skipping it. And on to the next fight. We are getting very lucky with a lot of burn salves, so I maybe don't need to be so stingy with them if we run into another burning fight, and we do. Here's a barricade fight, and oh look, he's back! At least he's blinded. And as usual, I want to get rid of this guy in the back, so I'm actually going to give Audrey a combo. I'm going to go ahead and use our ounce of prevention early this time. Fortunately, not the worst thing. He blinds me. This guy's gonna buff himself. Fortunately, trying to move my plague doctor. That's okay. Let's go ahead and hope we get the crit. We do. And he is dead next turn. Good miss. And we are going to guard our girl here. So I can riposte forward. She's going to stay in place though, so what's going to happen is Barristan's actually going to move to 3. So something to bear in mind when you see this is that it can impact how your movement works. And given that we have Blight synergy with Audrey, we'll go ahead and skip the bleed. Are getting very lucky with everything going on Barristan, but you can see this guy is really pushing us out of our order, and that's going to cause a problem eventually. And there's that Infernal Taskmaster. Nice AoE ability, hits everyone, stresses them, and gives them dots. Fortunately, Barristan here can move back forward. And you can see now he's locked in place and can't be moved. Yeah, nobody can be healed yet. That guy is blinded, and she could only add another blind. So let's just stack up some more of that blight damage. Good miss. And Audrey with her dual daggers should hopefully kill, and she does. Damage, take another hit. And then we hope turn order's in our favor next round. In fact, it probably won't be. I'm gonna go ahead and guard and try and stall here, knowing that he's probably gonna outspeed me even with this debuff. We're gonna give Audrey a little heal. We're gonna just use a passive ability that caused no damage. We're gonna let Audrey break the armor. And we're gonna let Para heal up our man-at-arms here. And since his armor's gone, the dot will kill him. And there he goes. You can see we did have a modifier of infectious on that, which impacts the enemy's dots. There is a lot of modifiers, and it can feel a little overwhelming to keep track of them. Just keep persevering. You will learn what they all are. And honestly, half the time I forget to keep track of them. So it can be important though, like someone is resistant to stun or they're resistant to movement. So you can always check the little icon that was up in the top. Again, here we can get a quirk or we can get some books. Fortunately, they agree, so they'll get another relationship point. Not really looking for quirks. Let's take the books. Help unlock some things for us. And unfortunately didn't get any. You get occultophobic, which doesn't trigger too often, so not the worst quirk. Everyone being very agreeable, wanting to go to another shrine. And that's fine, we'll lose a wheel. Or we could take another fight, take the cash, lose a wheel, and then go to the cultists. But since they all want to go to the shrine, we might as well take the stress relief. You don't have to do this. You could very easily choose to take another fight, go to the cache, and then take the last fight. It's actually a pretty tough call. We do have a lot of burn salve, which makes it a little easier for our first region. But it's really important to unlock the skills. Some of the kits can feel a little frustrating because you need the rest of the skills unlocked. So you can see our second wheel gone. And if we hit another patch, we would have to have a road fight. So it is about managing your resources and trying to make the best of a bad situation. The odds are not in your favor and things are sort of stacked against you. So as before, I'm going to go ahead and do Paracelsus. And I will bring you back after this. All right, and we are back, and we got the ability I was looking for, which was Plague Grenade. So I'm going to grab that, and then I'm actually going to move Paracelsus back here into the back and take off Incision. We've got her fully able to use stuff. And that opens up another skill of Audrey's, which is her pick to the face, which is really nice. It actually ignores block, and it's one of the few skills in the game that does that. There are some unique skills that ignore block, ignore dodge, ignore guard, or have execution, things like that that can be useful to keep in mind depending on who you're fighting. And as you learn the game, or, you know, spend more time in it, you'll kind of have an idea what you might need. So I actually know what I might need, and I know that this is suddenly going to be very useful. So we're going to put it on. And then off we go. To our first cultist encounter. You can see I've let my torch get a little low. It's a bad habit from playing, well, just playing too much of this game. I forget to do the torch when we do things like Infernal Flames, or you're doing the new Kingdoms mode. It kind of feels like sometimes, oh, the flame's draining so quick, it doesn't matter. And so they have a advantage chance, and we have less death blow resistance. So I want to get rid of the backliners. I think there's a strong argument not to worry about them, but they do spend a lot of time buffing and debuffing, and so we're going to get rid of this dodge. And we're going to set Audrey up to hopefully combo and get rid of him. You can see nice stress relief, and he is just one short next turn of being taken care of. And unfortunately not resisting any of those bleeds. And here's what I wanted. I wanted this Plague Grenade. Hit the back line. We will go ahead and toss up a Glimmer. So he is gone. This one he can't hit. And these two are just going to wail on the front two lines. So we can still go ahead and defend to get our block. But it'll just go through. So the AoEs in their own right ignore when someone is guarded because both people are being hit. See, he got stealthed. Little icon here. We do have a way to remove it, but he's already done. So we're going to work on this altar back here, who is going to keep buffing up the front two. And there we go. Gave him a regeneration of 18. And she just gave herself a crit. I don't know why I assume she. Feminine shaped. Whatever they are, they have a crit now. And it's gonna hurt, and I don't like it. I would love to blind them, but I can't. This one has a regen. I probably want to focus my time on this one, since she cannot hit back here anymore. And luckily enough, that one went into stealth, so trying to focus down will work. And I am actually going to go ahead and take the time to do that little bit more damage. Get the altar down. You can see those bleeds do really start to stack up. I can't get rid of it. Let's just do damage. Sort of keeping an eye. And that's unfortunate. You can see we're actually now going to take 40. Well. We're going to take a lot of bleed. I don't believe it's actually 40. Unfortunately, we do hit death's door. I could choose to pass heal. But I can see from my turn order, I will be able to heal him. So we're just going to do more damage. I do also have bandages, so I could do this. Let's just get rid of this one. Heal up. And unfortunately, the cycle continues with more bleed. Oh, and I was a little slow. I didn't see it. I was moving too fast. We were actually getting a relationship debuff for not guarding Dismas. So we saw a little blue arrow indicating that it was going to impact. But unfortunately, I was moving too quickly, and so I missed that. Unfortunately, it happens sometimes. Again, just... it can be useful to try and slow down. I think often when you've played a fair amount and you recognize the fights, it's easy to forget, like, hey, I'm gonna get a little notice and I need to check. So it's okay to take as much time as you need and to consider your moves. As you can see, at this point, I'm just trying to get all the damage into this one remaining one, get rid of the death armor as before, and they're done. We do get some more stuff. We get some trinkets, some cultist trinkets, which generally involve needing to have impulse. There is some pets that change that. But take a look really quick. You can see we have an unforgettable trinket and dark impulse. They are both unforgettable. So if I try to put this on, so we have to unlock the potential and then put it on. And you can see they're pretty potent. We get extra bleed resistance, but if we're bleeding, we get a stress every turn. And we get 50% damage, but a whole lot less health. So, for instance, we'd go down to 27. So, risk reward, you can decide if you want to use it, and we may use it. I might use it more on Audrey, who's going to be less likely to be targeted. And that might be a good reason to use mastery points on something like her Absinthe, which will give her dodge pluses, so hopefully she's just not ever being hit. Take that damage. And with that, we're through our region, and we're to our next end. Not too bad. Lucked out with getting a lot of burn salve. See, we completed our objectives. Unfortunately, we did go to the hoarder. We get some quirks. Oh no. That's bad. That's bad. All bad. Yay! These are some really rough ones. So, yikes. This run might be a little doomed. But that's okay. We are approaching about an hour of this, so as with all my other DD2 things, I do think, well, most of my other DD, I do think I'm going to do these one region or so at a time. Makes it easier to upload and hopefully in a more digestible format. If you have any thoughts on how we're doing the run, I'd sure love to hear them. Thank you, as always, for joining me. Have a pleasant day. And I'll see you next time.